Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 6. We're more than halfway through the course, and overall, I'm very proud of everybody, especially those of you who have not worked in healthcare, as you've really been able to adapt and pick up some of these things very, very quickly. This week, we're going to be covering Chapter 6, which covers documentation, guidelines, and content in the hospital record and physician office record and other settings. There's a lot of important material in this chapter, so I have some key areas that I really want you to pay attention to. Let's have a look. Okay, so I'm just showing you the ebook here because it's easier to show people what are important on this section of it. But if you'll notice, there are all these different types of links that you will see right here. And I'm just going to go through a few of them and leave the rest for you to explore and learn about. You'll hear about things like face sheet, advanced directives, informed consent, discharge summary. And it's important to be familiar with what these documents are and what they do so you can understand where to find information, which is critical to code a hospitalization or surgery or what have you. So I'm just going to take the discharge summary. And it will describe it. And then they give you an example, right? And this is a little bit small here on my recording, but I think you can adjust your screen so you can understand the content of it, right? And they'll talk about electronic versus paper. And then pay especially close attention to the content, things like principal secondary diagnosis, principal secondary procedures, all these types of things are critical, right? And you'll see that throughout but it gives you a very nice description of a discharge summary. So be familiar with all of these things, particularly 6-3, 6-4, all these different diagrams, 6-5, 6-6. And if you understand those, you'll be in really good shape. They also have a study checklist that some of you might be interested in using. A lot of students blow by this, but let's take a look. Okay, so obviously you should read the chapter, highlight the key concepts. If you do highlighting, index cards for key terms, some people find helpful, read the chapter links, and so on. Anyway, that's what we have going on in chapter 6 this week in HIM 120. Please feel free to reach out either during office hours or make an appointment with me if you have any questions about this material. Have a great week, and we'll see you online. Bye now.